Hello, and welcome to this live stream of All About Now. Yes, this is a live stream of All About Now. Hello, I'm Meghnad. In case you don't know, I host a show called Explain Like I'm 10 on this feed, and we have a few other shows. The other show that I host with my comedian and cousin friend is called How to Citizen, and there is a third show which is hosted by Abbas Momin called Page 10. So this AMA is sort of a feedback session, but actually it's an ask me anything. So you can ask me anything technically. So we are just here to hang out in general. And I am going to talk to people. That's basically the idea. And I just wanted to tell you about a few episodes that we have done in the past, what you thought about it, if you have any feedback, and we can just get rolling now. Uh, Karan is here and Shweta is here. Hello. And yeah, so this is on. So Shweta is saying this is only AMA, I guess. So we should all put out our ELI 10 topics. Please explain this types. Yes, you can do that as well, where you basically ask me complicated questions, and I'll try my best to explain what it is in like it's for a 10-year-old. Newt is here. Hello, how are you? I am good. And Kostov is here. Hello. So, just to give you an idea of past episodes that we have recently done, I will start with the latest one, which was on defamation. So, we are trying out some new formats with Explain Like I'm 10. So, the basic concept, in case you don't know what the podcast is that I am the host. I ask very basic questions to an expert about something, and there is a union leader of spectators who has no idea who the guest is or what the topic is, and we have a conversation about it. So that is the usual format, but we are also trying to experiment a little bit with that format. In the past, like recently, we tried one where Shweta, who is our regular listener and follower, was there. We also had Hemisha, who is also a listener and follower, who were the union leader of spectators. So we are trying to get like people from the audience to join in this podcast as well. So if you're someone who is interested, please do write to us, and we will try to accommodate you in this podcast. Pranay is saying Meghnad is literally in the house. How does it feel shuttling between Delhi and Mumbai? It's been interesting, Pranay, to put it mildly. To people who don't know, I am based in Delhi. I come here every month for 1 week, and in this wonderful studio. Where I get to interact with people face to face. Otherwise, I'm just interacting with them through a screen. It's been fun, and it's interesting. The cities are very different. Delhi and Bombay are extremely different. But yeah, I get to experience both. It's a little tiring though. I think I'm getting old. Karan is saying, I think you were going to go into detail in the complications of shooting the Kashmir episode last time you streamed. Yes, I can talk about that a little bit. So, a little bit of context is we did a How to Citizen episode with Omar Abdullah. The first episode, you can check it on our feed. One of the funnest things I have done, to be honest. Okay, so the thing is, How to Citizen season 2, we wanted to make it big, and me and Shreyas were just taking an auto ride somewhere, and Shreyas was like, why don't you check your Twitter to see which are the famous people that follow you, and why don't you just spam their DMs and see if they respond to be a guest. And interestingly enough, Omar Abdullah had just tweeted and he does follow me. So I just DM'd him and asked him, hey, so we are doing this podcast where we are reading the 7th grade civics book. Would you like to be a part of it? He's like, yeah, come to Kashmir and then I would be happy to do it. And then we were like, okay, we are coming to Kashmir. Just didn't realize what a sort of a logistical nightmare that is going to be, because none of us had ever done it before, at least at IVM, but we managed to do it. So me, Shreyas, and Sakshi, our producer, who is sitting right here, we went there, and there were a lot of nerves because we were told that he's under house arrest. And we were like, we landed, and the first thing that I said was, let's just go to his house and see the situation and just see if we can get inside at least, because the next day we had scheduled a shoot with him. So we just wanted to see if we can enter his house at least. And we had taken printouts of the chapter that we were going to give Omar 24 hours before the recording. And we did. So we went there, and there was like a lot of police and like a lot of security. And we just knocked on the door, and we were like, oh, we have to give this chapter to him for the recording tomorrow. So after a few security questions, etc., we were let in. We gave the chapter. So we were like, at least we knew that, okay, so we can get in potentially. Don't know what will happen tomorrow, but we can get in today. Next day, I think we did manage to get in. And it was really fun. Omar was very welcoming. He had a bunch of sort of pre-scheduled appointments, and he had a funeral to attend as well. So he had to run there, and he was constantly texting me, apologizing and saying, please, sorry, thoda delay ho gaya. And we were like, okay, we are here, where are we going? So we sat around in his office, and we managed to pull it off. We did it in his office, and we had a whole crew which we had to take with us, and they did all the shoots and the audio and everything. Interesting times and interesting episode. Just the fact that he agreed to sort of talk about a 7th grade chapter was a little mind-blowing for both me and Shreyas. And we were quite nervous also, but went well, I think. Went well. What's the schedule on HTC, and when will the second half drop? Is what Shweta asked. So the thing is, and I don't mind being honest. So with How to Citizen, it has been very challenging for us to get guests. To be perfectly honest with you, right? Like getting Omar Abdullah in the first episode sort of set the bar really high for us. So we are now aiming very high with this season. But the problem is, very few people want to talk about politics, especially in Bombay. Like, we have been reaching out to a bunch of people, and do you know how many people have rejected our offers? About 97 people have said no to come to this podcast, but a few did say yes. We are trying to fill the slots for the end episode, the finale, which also we want it to be like a banger of an episode. So far, we haven't had good luck. The rest we are still shooting. So essentially, the break is to also adjust for that a little bit. But you will see some episodes dropping really soon. We are very hopeful that we will get you a very fun finale guest. Let's hope that he or she says yes. But yeah, that's the reason. And I would say that by April end, we would resume dropping the rest of the season as well. Again, hopeful that the finale is done. Otherwise, like 8th episode के बाद फिर से एक break ले लेंगे, फिर finale कभी तो भी आएगा. That is also an option. Yeah, who says we have to release it in one go? Nobody. We set the rules. So it's actually asked which city you like more, Delhi or Bombay, and Millennial Mind is saying, I never went to the gas chamber. So for me, it's Mumbai. Dude, Mumbai is also a gas chamber now. Did you check the AQI ratings? Yahan pe, like, it's like worse than Delhi. It's bad. It's not exactly good. Kaustav is asking, when is the episode with Nidhi Razdan coming up? Very soon. As I said, after we resume, I think the very next episode is Nidhi, Sakshi. The episode, yeah. So it will come very soon. Like, the first episode that drops is Nidhi Razdan's episode. She was there, and it will be out soon. Smooth to say Sakshi handled the production anyhow. It was her first time handling a big project like this, so I was very impressed. Okay, Sakshi, and she did pull it off. I thought you were a Marathi guy. Are you born and brought up in Delhi? No, I haven't been born and brought up in Delhi. I am a Nagpur fellow. I was born and brought up in Nagpur, and I moved to Delhi 11 years ago. And now I am a very much a Delhi person. I would be proud to say that I'm a Delhi resident now. Karan is saying, I love the gag of what name should we call you in that episode. So that was a setup, Karan, I must say. Me and Shreyas were sort of trying to figure out, again, nerves a little bit because, again, like it was a little intimidating to be in Kashmir, to be honest, and talking about how to citizen. uh, we heard many scary stories before we went there as well. So we were trying to be careful. The thing is that we want to put our guests to ease right at the beginning of the episode because that sort of sets the tone for the entire episode, right? And How to Citizen is a fun podcast. I mean, sure, we talk about serious issues, but obviously we are talking about the curriculum of school and what kids are being taught. But we also have to make sure that our guests are in a comfortable place to actually talk about it. So we try to come up with these setups right at the beginning where we are putting the guests to comfort. Like, I mean, we are trying to make them comfortable. So with Omar, we were like, we should just ask him, should we call him Omar or should we say Adarniya Omar Ji or Omar Abdullah Ji or ex-CM Honorable Omar Ji? And we thought that it would be an interesting opening. So we sort of kind of pre-planned that and we did it. And he was like, what else are you going to call me? And we're like, oh, but you might have reverential followers who are like, how dare you call him Omar? Which has happened with me before, by the way. I have called a politician by their first name and I have regretted it because their followers or their PAs, etc., got very upset that I did not address them with an honorific or like G or whatever. So in one case, it was, I will not say it because you'll know exactly who I'm talking about, so I will not say it. So, yeah, so we were thinking that's a nice way to start. So that's what it was. Why not get Cyrus for How to Citizen? Maybe we will shoot a bonus episode with him. That's what we are considering. Let's see how that goes. Um, Finale के लिए right winger lao is what Shweta is saying. Shweta, to be honest, that is exactly what we are trying. And so far, no luck. We are trying genuinely, like to have some diversity and at least I don't want to get someone who is ridiculous, but at the same time, I do want to reach out to people who are uh, quote unquote right wing. Again, very broad term. I don't like using that term. Maybe people who do not agree with my ideology, I want to talk to them as well. So we're trying. Uh, let's see. So far, no luck. Bring Sambit Patra and Supriya Srinath in the same episode. Oh, wow. I doubt if Sambit Patra would come. Supriya Srinath is a good option, actually. Why not? Actually, we might. I don't think she's a bad idea. Sakshi, we can reach out to Supriya Srinath. Pranay, talking of How to Citizen in Srinagar is so meta. Exactly. So Shreyas did this weird experiment. We were in Kashmir, so we will produce content. So we were like, content banayenge. And we had this bright idea, bright being in quotes, that we will go on the streets of Kashmir and ask people how to citizen. And we were like naive enough to think that that will work. It did not work well. So Sakshi and Shreyas got up at 5 in the morning, got on a shikara, went to a market and tried to talk to people. Didn't work out. So Shreyas did this very fun vox pop, which have we released that video, Sakshi, yet? So this Wednesday that Vox Pop is releasing, which is this fun bit that Shreyas did in Kashmir. I will not spoil it. He did manage to do a Vox Pop, um, but it was weird, bizarre. So that is dropping on Wednesday. We did try to do How to Citizen in Srinagar. It would be okay. Apurva is saying it would be interesting to see how a orange guy thinks of a perfect citizen. Are you referring to me as the orange guy, or are you talking of uh, uh, who are you talking about? Orange guy? I don't know who you're referring to. Um, AMA, what was RSS back in the day when it was formed, and what has it converted to over the years? Oh, that's a very heavy question, Shweta. I would recommend actually you listen to this Let's Talk About series by News Laundry. Let's talk about RSS. So it talks about their formation, what has happened, their training sessions. They also talk to people who went to the RSS and what they did there. That would be a better sort of way to get that information than me giving it to you, because I'm now thinking of the details that I need to put in and I don't really have any. But to be honest, I have been to Shakha early on in my life. I was in Nagpur and people were going to Shakha. I have to say, this is personal experience. In Nagpur, there are a bunch of playgrounds which shakhas happen in, and playtime for us, for some kids, there is shakha, right? So I did not really have the concept of what is RSS or what is shakha literally till I came to Delhi. My indoctrination, my environment was such that the RSS was always seen as this NGO cultural organization that does a lot of activities and of course physical activities, discipline, whatever. There are a bunch of schools also in Nagpur which are run by the RSS. So I know some friends who went to those schools. So I looked at it that way. But when I came to Delhi, it was in 2011, is when I started speaking to people around me and their views about RSS, and then I realized what was happening. So I like did some reading, and then I found out the cultural agenda of RSS and what it's all about and how it was formed and what it's based on, and kind of blew my mind, very honestly. Then 2014 happened and RSS became a thing with everyone, and I mean it was always a thing, but it obviously, like, the political influence of RSS was not so much when I entered Delhi, but after 2014, you know what happened. So yeah, that is my personal view. How was it back in the day? So personally, back in the day, it was for me like this, whatever organization, cultural organization that is just doing activities and with like some uncles in half pants just doing things, and I was like, okay, but yeah, that ended. That view ended. Will you do How to Citizen based on class 10th textbook? So, Nikita, so uh, right now we are doing 7th grade. So we already did 8th grade. For people who don't know, this is season 2. We are doing 7th grade right now. This Before this we did 8th grade. We are regressing. But next we will try to do 9th grade the next season, and then we will eventually go to 10th grade as well. That is the idea there. Again, the experience with this season so far is that it's mighty difficult to get guests, so we will have to sort of rework that part and figure out how to sort of like make that easier for us and for everyone, and sort of have like guests who are more easily accessible and also are fun enough to have in this podcast. It's a big puzzle for us right now. So we will figure it out. But yes, we do intend to go to 9th grade, 10th grade, even 11th and 12th maybe. I don't know. But yeah, season 3 maybe 9th grade and then 10th grade. Give us some names who refuse to come on How to Citizen. I don't want to. It's not cool to do that. I'm not going to name and shame, but generally speaking, a lot of people are scared to come on podcasts like How to Citizen. Uh, and we did reach out to a lot of celebrities specifically, Bollywood, TV, bunch of them, and you saw like Richa and Anoop and like even Sushant, who will feature soon. These are people who agreed readily, actually, and it was actually uh, quite nice that they did do this. But mostly I would say that people we have reached out to, they are very scared about giving political opinions at this point of time, and they don't want to get into trouble, they don't want brands to pull out, they don't want their career to be affected, which I completely understand. I don't think it's a risk worth taking, I guess. uh, at the same time, on a personal level, I do feel like maybe it's not that big of a deal to talk about a seventh grade chapter, right? mm, if you observe in some of the episodes, like especially if you look at like Anup Soni's episode or Richa Chadda's episode, who are celebrities and they have a lot to lose, we didn't really diss uh, the prime minister or the party in power or anything of that sort. We did talk about the subjects in the chapter a lot, like growing up as boys and girls, whether the state government cares about health. With Priyanka Chaturvedi, of course it had to get a little political because she's like other Shiv Sena, the original Shiv Sena, with Shiv Sena, so that did get a little political there, but of course we did talk about the role of state government, right? So it's very basic civics concept, so it's not that difficult right, to talk about it. I guess what is happening right now is that people are confusing civics with politics and sort of intrinsically relating it to the current political scenario. Whereas you can actually not talk about the current political scenario and just talk about what is the content of the book completely, and you will be safe. But of course, that sort of understanding wo hum nahi bata sakte. Like, I mean, when we invite them, we can't like tell them this, right? That guys, it's okay. You don't have to talk about the BJP. You don't have to talk about the current government. Just talk about what is in the book or your personal experiences, how you grew up, how you look at civics, how you look at citizens' rights. Just talk about that. You don't have to diss anyone per se. That is why this format exists, where we are taking school level books and talking to people so that they're more comfortable coming out with their opinions about basic rights, about duties, about the constitution, about democracy. uh, but this is very hard to explain when you're inviting big celebrities. It can't do it, so unfortunate, but it's still hopeful. Let's see. I mean, like, if more people see How to Citizen season 2, they will also probably realize, or not. I don't know. Uh, Manish is also recommending podcast series by Let's Talk About RSS. Yeah, I've just recommended that. Pink Flamingo is saying right wingers will never come. Their views never align with logic. Um, I I don't want to make such a broad statement. Like, I mean, your view of, again, quote unquote right wing is based on what you see the loudmouths on social media. I feel like there might be reasonable people worth talking to as well in the other political spectrum. Reasonable people who are not hateful. Primarily, that's what I want. I don't want people who are hateful, or would use this platform to spread more hate or misinformation. That is primarily what I want, and I feel like there are reasonable people who can do this. Just that they're saying no. So, um, a right-wing politician celebrity would be so interesting to see their view after reading civics text. Exactly, right? Like, it's legitimate. Like, I mean, I do want to hear their views as well. RW and intellectual conversations interesting. Sriram is asking, hey, I'm a fan of your finesse and political criticism. Can you please make a dedicated video on Hindenburg and its effect on Indian economy and why government is denying shell companies? Shriram. Oh, so we did do Shriram, I would recommend you go back to our episodes of page 10. So for I think straight 4 weeks I was covering the Adani saga. I feel like in January, February, just check the previous episodes. I was constantly like covering what is happening in the Hindenburg thing because I read the report. I read the response of Adani to that report, and then I read Hindenburg's response to Adani's response. And I was also following the other coverage happening around it. The recent episode was, of course, about the Forbes report that came on the Adani issue and what it says. We did speak a lot about shell companies and what it means. Like that is, I think, where I brought up the parliamentary question where the government says that we don't have a definition of shell companies. So what are you talking about? Uh, Weird. So yeah, so you can listen to that. But other than that, if you have any other questions, please feel free to DM me on Twitter or tweet to me or whatever. But what I can do is maybe I'll talk to Abbas. Maybe we can do a specific episode on it. But I feel like we have already covered it enough. I If I have something new to add, I will definitely cover it on page 10 myself. So please do check out page 10. It's a very fun podcast. We just shot a very fun episode, guys, today. And it will be out, I think, Wednesday tak aa jayega. We spoke about this very interesting story that Alt News did. Abhishek, who is their journalist, he came and he spoke about this BJP spending money on Facebook ads and how his report managed to connect the ads, which are full of misinformation and uh, a bunch of attacky ads, essentially, how they are connected to the BJP. Then I covered the NCRT deletions. That's kind of mind-boggling. And Abbas covered the Kejriwal's degree dikhao andolan, whatever they are doing. So yeah, that's what we're doing. Subramaniam Swami will be fun. Arun is asking. Yes, he would be fun. I think I did reach out to him. No response yet. Let's hope he does. Kumar Sanu is saying, have you really had truly left wing people on your show? Why not get someone from the CPI, for example? Again, left wing in quotes. I feel like mostly socialists. I would say Anup is a socialist based on his views on health. I would say I am also a socialist. So if you're talking about the left spectrum of politics, yeah, sure, we did have a lot of those people. Maybe not anyone from the communism side of things. Uh, Not yet. No, we didn't. What is a vox pop? Vox pop is when you go on the streets and ask people questions, and essentially, it's a vox pop is yeah, that's what it is, right? Where you go on the streets and ask people questions. That's it. That's what a vox pop is. Please do a collab with Akash Banerjee, Wall of Stands. Please do check out our episode of ELI 10 with Akash Banerjee, where we spoke about what is patriotism. Very fun episode. Akash was there, and my colleague Snehil played the union leader of spectators. And don't miss the end part where Snehil read out this very extremely uh, amazing revolutionary poem. I mean, I don't know how to call it. Where he was doing like the street play and he read out this poem. Very nice, and I really enjoyed that episode. So please check it out with Akash Banerjee. It's in the feed. What is patriotism? Pranay is saying Vox Pop is people's opinion going around asking unsuspecting people questions on camera. Yeah, that's what it is. Yeah, essentially that's what it is. A better way to put it. Voice of the public. Yes, exactly. That's what it is. Uh, Preetham, AMA. What's your take? Normalization of rampant police brutality and small scale corruption in the police force? Can something radical be done, like handing over control of the police to the judiciary? I believe we did touch upon this recently at some point. I think it was, yeah, it was that politician being transported from Rajasthan to Uttar Pradesh. I think that is when we spoke about reforming police. Um, this is actually a very important and interesting question because um, it's really sad how our police system has to sort of toe the political line every time. Because if you look at our general democratic setup, right, we have general elections every 5 years, but every state is also having their elections in 5 years. So the election calendar is always like every other quarter, every year you have like three, four elections, and parties keep changing from one to the other, right? They keep passing on rivals only, like, who keep changing power again and again. So one fine day you are listening to this political boss and going after a certain amount of people based on their needs, and then when the government changes, you're doing the opposite, where the people you are going after are suddenly in power. So now you are listening to their whims and going after the people who were previously in power. Then it changes again 5 years later, and then you are doing the same thing. So for the police it's very difficult, right? Because if you have to do any sort of long term investigation, this is kind of pointless. Say you start like an investigation an year before the election year, investigating something, even if it's an opposition party, if they have done some scams or whatever, you have started the investigation. And then when the election happens and the opposition party comes to power, then that investigation has to stop, and then you have to basically do something else. And it's kind of tragic, because then it also like causes a lot of delays in investigation. So that is my primary argument to essentially give more power to police and our security apparatus in general. um, I don't think handing it over to the judiciary is a good idea, though. I feel like making them more independent and directly accountable to the people would be a better idea. um, can be done. uh, just that I don't think anybody currently wants it to happen, because it's such a great tool, no, in the hands of politicians. It's like a weapon that you can wield when you're in power to put everybody else in line and ensure that you stay in power. So yeah, that's basically it. Okay, so Apurva is asking, soon the books itself would have changed to what they want. You will not be able to know how to citizen, but only how to be a good subject. That's a very legit comment, Apurva. If you look at the NCRT changes, the story done by Ritika Chopra, in case people don't know what I'm talking about, there was a report done in Indian Express, a 3-part series by Ritika Chopra, where she pointed out how over the last 2 years, I believe, there were many changes made in the NCRT books from 6th standard to 12th standard, sociology, political science, and history. Um, मोटा मोटा मुगल के बारे में बहुत कुछ हटा दिया है, narrative change. About the RSS, a lot of things have been removed, which are bad things about the RSS. Gujarat riots, a lot of things have been removed. Emergency, interestingly enough, they've removed like portions about Indira Gandhi's emergency as well. And a few other. Oh yeah, the interesting thing is they also removed a lot of things about caste discrimination, untouchability, caste discrimination, minority rights. So it's all over the place. And again, a page 10 episode coming this week. Please do listen to it for more details. Uh, what is happening is, I feel you're right, Apurva, that they are sort of trying to change the narrative at a very basic level. And I wouldn't say like BJP is the first party to do this, right? Like political parties in general want to perpetuate themselves, where they will stay in power for a long time. It is a systemic thing, right? I always say that it's a systemic thing, where a political party, when it's in power, It will try to stay in power for as long as possible. The way to do that, and the best way to do that, is to get new voters. So, for example, uh, in 2019, a bunch of people turned 18. 5 years later, 23, they will obviously, 5 years later, they will be 23-year old. So, in their interest, they would want to reach out to this bunch of people and feed their heads with propaganda, right? And values that they align to, so that they're more likely to vote for them in the next election as well. If you go even basic, right, where you can say that they might even want to work on future voters who are currently in like a sixth grade, seventh grade, eighth grade, and feed their heads with information that will ensure that they will come to power, let's say 10 years later, when they can actually vote. And this is what it looks like, where anything bad that is being taught about your parent organization, or any parallels that you can draw with the emergency, or any glorification, quote unquote, of Mughals, who you are dissing on a day-to-day basis, or caste, right? It's going to basically be effective if you essentially catch them young, got to catch them young, and then feed their heads with information that maybe they will benefit from later. This is the simplest answer I can give right now. The part where you say that how to citizen, where citizens have rights and they can implement them, and they can talk freely, they can tell the government to basically protect them. Those things will be turned into, like, I mean, you become a subject then, where when when you basically agree with sort of ideas where authority figures need to be worshipped, not to be held accountable. Authority figures need to not be questioned, right? So then you become a subject, and yeah, mm, revision of books, school books, is one way to do it. Mm, Can I add you on Steam? Do you play Dota? Yes, I do play Dota. SS. DM me on Twitter. I'll send you my ID. You can add me on Steam, of course. I do have some people who have added me on Steam. Uh, okay. Honestly, I think Sakshi wants a comment to be highlighted. Uh, Harsh is asking, hi, do read The Dictator's Handbook by Alistair Smith and Bruce Beno de Mesquita. Mesquita. Okay, sorry, mispronounced. And please make an episode about selectorate theory of politics. Oh, that's interesting. Okay, yeah, sure. Noted. Sakshi, noted. And we are actually trying to do a series on ideologies soon. If you have any suggestions for guests, what is communism, what is libertarianism, what is liberal, what is being a liberal even mean, what is capitalism, we want to do like a series on that. We are working on that. We'll get you some guests on that front, but point noted. Please get Ravish Kumar. Tried, couldn't, he's too busy. Meghnad, can you please tell us how we can reach out to try and be a part of ELI 10 as union leader spectators? So you can write to us on allaboutnow at pratilipi.com, and also you can DM me personally. My email is meghnad at pratilipi.com, so you can write to me also directly, or you can write to sakshi at pratilipi.com. And what we'll do is we can screen you, we can see whether you have a good mic, and essentially just like a basic screening. Of course, we don't need anything fancy. And then, yeah, we will include you. We already have some applications in line from a few people, so you will see more people coming into as union leader of spectators soon. So Karan, please do write to me or Sakshi or All About Now. Oh wait, mind blowing. मैंने highlight कर दिया, sorry. Uh, I'd like to monetarily contribute to all independent organizations like you guys, News Laundry, Scroll, but itna paisa nahi hai. Is there a way to once in a while bring these orgs under one roof for an open house? Okay. So the contribution wise, right, we don't take subscriptions, like IBM doesn't right now, but we will soon work towards starting like a subscription thing for All About Now. We are working on it right now. As soon as we get more subscribers, and as soon as we get to a comfortable place where we will actually be able to start it, you can then contribute and join and become a member. You will have special things. We are also like figuring out what special things we can give you. One of them is live streams. So yeah, that will come soon. And getting all of us under one roof, I think Media Rumble happens, and like I think all of these organizations, including IVM, does participate in that. So yeah, Media Rumble happens. How do you see whole Mughal stuff deletion controversy? Shouldn't they have just added the atrocities, temple destruction things? The deletion just doesn't make sense. I mean, yeah, it doesn't make sense. Like, I mean, revising history in a way that you want it to look doesn't make sense at all. You can't erase history after a point, right? Or maybe can you? Um, I don't think it was a good move, to be honest. I don't think it gives like a holistic view of what our history was. And that is primarily because you always are trying to connect Mughals with Islam, and Islam being a radical religion which you want to suppress. Um, that whole thought process just leads back to that all the time. The fact is that Mughals were a part of our history. They were on our subcontinent. They were there for so many years, like centuries. And they did have a big impact on our cultural identity. And I would say, like food, like clothing, even, I mean, monuments, of course. They are a part of Indian history. Whether you like it or not, you can't change that. So, like, might as well learn more about them, right? Might as well learn about how they ran their kingdoms, what sort of failures they had, what sort of successes they had, and objectively look at it as a account of what happened in the land that we live in, right? Without sort of attaching these sort of current political emotions that you want to portray on like what happened thousands of years ago. It doesn't make sense to me. Kids need to know these things, and it's unfortunate. The whole premise of HTC is based on books having knowledge about how to citizen. What if all of it is deleted? That's Apurva, please ऐसे क्यों existential crisis दे रहे हो मुझे? Currently, the text we are using, it hasn't. I mean, it has been also revised a bit. We are just using the current text. Actually, what we found out was that an entire chapter on advertising, wasn't that Sakshi, was removed. An entire chapter on advertising was deleted in the latest revision of the civics textbook of 7th grade. And they have put in a box now in the media chapter. Again, I don't understand it. The whole logic that they're giving for these changes is that it's rationalization of curriculum. Because COVID में kids के लिए they wanted to reduce the burden that kids had on themselves. So they wanted to remove that. So therefore they were rationalizing the curriculum by deleting certain chapters. In this case, I would actually agree. ठीक है, advertising का chapter हटा दो. It's okay. But at the same time, maybe have like an honest conversation about how advertisement works, and what sort of mechanism it is to sort of also shape narratives. But that's asking too much to expect like a 7th grade textbook to tell kids. So in this case, it's okay. I just don't want the entire book to be deleted. That would be not nice. um Vox Pop origin is Vox Populi, the opinions or beliefs of the majority. I don't think we are doing that though, Shubhankar. I don't think we are taking the views of the majority when we are going on the streets. But yeah, but that does make sense. Uh, do you think India has any truly liberal? एक second. Me in moving image is asking, do you think India has a truly liberal or conservative parties? It just seems that India has only right wing radicals and left wingers. I wouldn't say we have right wingers or left wingers. I would say we have socialists in general. All of our parties are socialists. All of our parties believe in welfare. All of our parties believe that taxpayer money should be spent on ration or education and health, infrastructure also, right? We believe in that, and we are a socialist country, so we don't technically have any conservative parties. Okay, when you want to judge a party, don't label them as left wing, right wing, conservative, whatever. Please understand that all parties change their ideologies based on situations. Uh, if a pandemic happens, even the most conservative party will give as much food possible to people because they are dying, which is welfare, right? Um, and so, if you say that, economically right wing, free market, parties will not really do that, because they'll be like, oh, the market will take care of everyone. So don't look at it that way. What I would suggest is that there is a political compass quiz that you take. There is a politicalcompass.in, if I'm not wrong. Just search for political compass. Take that quiz. It will show you where you lie on the political spectrum. Um, it's based on economic and social gradients. Just go there, just figure out where you lie, and then you will actually try to see around you which is the party that comes closest to what you believe in, and it will not be labeled that way. I think that's the best way to look at political parties and their ideologies, but also understand that the ideologies constantly change based on what people are saying and reacting, and based on where they want to attract votes from. So yeah, that is what I would say. Um, Last few questions. There is a there's a lot of questions. Huh? uh, uh, there's an interesting question from Preetham. Serious question though. Is there any way to prevent Cyrus from constantly interrupting the guest? It's a major miscarriage of justice. I'm not his boss, man. He is Cyrus. He is him. And I actually enjoy being on his podcast, and I do get annoyed when he interrupts me. I'm trying to find ways and techniques to sort of prevent him from interrupting me and sort of completing my train of thought. Yeah, I have been so far mildly successful, I would say, but not completely. But that's Cyrus for you. Cyrus does that, and people actually enjoy him doing that also. um Suggestion: stop having discussions with people in the same echo chamber who have the exact same opinions. Will serve you better. The country has moved on from this leftist citation loop propaganda. Again, I'm trying to say that please do not tag anybody else, or any other party, as a left party or a right party or a conservative party or whatever. um, Ideologies change, people's views change, and you might think that I'm talking to people in the same echo chamber, which might be true. I'm not denying this. I mean, it's easier for me to get people who are sort of agreeing with me than people who are disagreeing with me. That is very unfortunate, I know. Not like I'm not reaching out to people. Even in my previous job, I did reach out to a lot of people who I did not agree with. They just don't want to talk to me. And I am reaching out. I believe me, I am. And what tends to happen also, like, is that on social media, if I'm trying to have a quote unquote serious conversation with someone I do not agree with, there are weird kind of reactions that I get from everyone. One is, of course, oh, why are you engaging? why are you doing this? Why are you basically talking to someone who is hateful? Or I mean, I guess, like just like this person doesn't agree with that person, so they're like, oh, I agree with you, but why are you talking to that person? That's social media for you. So that is where echo chambers are formed. I am in one such echo chamber as well, not denying that. But believe me, I am trying to reach out to people who are from a different ideology. But primarily, what we are doing with like ELI 10 right now, for example, is that we are trying to reach out to people who do not really have an ideology, that they're experts in their own fields. Like, if you look at, we did an episode on what was it? How to write a book. Yeah, how to publish a book with Kartika, who is the head of Westland, right? Now, she is an expert in publishing books, and I want to know how to publish books. And that was a very fun episode. So we did that. We did one episode with on our Indian drug safe, right? Now, the people who came there are experts in answering that one particular question. We are trying to get people to talk to us about AI. We are actually looking at data scientists and people who understand how algorithms work, and we are trying to get them to answer, like things like, will AI take our jobs? Is AI going to kill us all? uh, yeah, that's what the kind of people we are getting on ELI 10. With page 10, of course, the people we are getting are journalists who are actually doing stories which are interesting. And yeah, you might not agree with them. Sure, that's fine. uh, but yeah, that's who we are getting. Ujjwal is saying Cyrus is a force of nature. We love rain, we love sunshine, and sometimes nature overdoes it. But we love Mother Nature, hence we love Cyrus. Yes, agreed. I kind of agree with that. Um, Rahul Verma wrote a wonderful book on Indian political spectrum, ideology and identity. Make sure to invite him while talking about ideologies in Indian. Hey, this is interesting. Rahul Verma. So we can actually put that down. Thank you so much. Satvi, excited for the AI one. Will be testing ChatGPT 4 soon and reach you. Oh, Satvi, yeah, I'm also testing it. I'm also like playing around with GPT 4, and I have many questions. I have been obsessing over AI for the last whatever months, and it's kind of blowing my mind. Use ICSC books in HTC. अभी CBSE complete करने दो, then we will see. Pink Flamingo saying, must looking forward to AI related episodes. We don't realize the intensity of its capabilities and how it is going to impact absolutely everything and soon. If any of you are following any Indian experts who are working in the field of AI, please reach out to us on meghnad@pratilipi.com or sakshi@pratilipi.com or allaboutnow@pratilipi.com, or leave a comment under this video on people you want me to talk to about AI. I would be very more than happy to do a series on this because I'm terribly interested in this subject right now, and I think for like days to come. So yeah, I'm very interested. Please do suggest some names who we can call. Mm, 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 mm. Suggestion और ये तो हो गया. Is there a possibility of IVM podcast having series on geopolitics? Hmm, that's an interesting idea. Maybe like an ideology series, we can do like a geopolitics series. But I'm thinking what question we'll ask. Is China dangerous or something like that? Like we can try. That's an interesting idea, Kaustav. Noted. Get Akar Patel too is amazing. We already got Akar Patel. Apurv, ELI 10 episode is titled What is Activism? I read his wonderful book and we questioned him about it. Shreyas was the eulos for that one. Please do check it out. I love that episode, and Akar, obviously, big fan. So please do check it out. For capitalism, socialism, get Professor Arun Kumar of JNU. Yes, yes, I have that name noted down. The only thing is that he's in Delhi and our studio is in Bombay, and we are trying to do this in studio. Again, like our best, like I mean, we are trying all the time to just get people in studio so that we can have like a more natural conversation. It's just very difficult to do that given our budget constraints right now. But yeah, the best thing you can do, guys, is to share our channel, make other people subscribe to it, watch it, and soon we will have a join button also. So please, you know, contribute if you can, so that we can actually go to these people and do like episodes with them. That's the ideal scenario that I'm aiming towards, where I can have one-on-one conversations with them by going there, where I can get Sakshi and Shubhankar to fly with us to wherever, and they're very happy to come with me wherever in the world, and then we can do like these episodes with them, like a proper podcaster. Yes, see, Shubhankar is like very happy, so we will do that. Invite Nalin Mehta to talk about his book, The New BJP. Brilliant insights on BJP's electoral strategy and their vote. Actually, yeah, that's a great idea, VA. Nalin Mehta. Sakshi, remind me, we should get Nalin. I think I do have his contact. Thank you, VA. I think that's a great idea. I think he would also be great at like one of these ideology episodes as well. Thank you. That would be a great guest to have. I would like to recommend AI Snake Oil on Substack. It is authored by Arvind Narayanan and Sayash Kapoor. They examine AI critically, which I feel is severely beneath the hype. Oh, nice. These are two great names. We will try to reach out to them. Ankit, if you have any contacts with them, please do reach out to them, and also simultaneously to me, if you can form some connection. Otherwise, I will do it myself as well. Sakshi will also try. Then thank you for the suggestion, by the way. That's a great idea. I'll also check out their blog. AI snake oil sounds like right up my alley. Also, I can see how that will go. Please try to do some episodes about students' ke problem like unemployment, cutthroat competition, etc. Arushi. Yeah, that's a good idea. I think Professor Arun Kumar would be a great person to have on unemployment, to be honest. To understand unemployment and maybe how to solve it. Yeah, that's actually a good idea. I like that topic. I think the AI episode that we are trying to do is also about jobs, but of course that's related to AI. But more generally, talking about unemployment and competition and cutthroat competition and student issues, maybe about education also, the state of our education. There are a lot of sweeping changes happening in the not just the curriculum, but how the national education policy. That is actually a good idea as well. Sakshi, we can do an episode on national education policy also, like we did the defamation one. So we can try that as well. The bot promised me to help overthought of. Okay. Vinay Sitapati also wrote a book on the BJP and Hindutva Jugalbandi. Yes, Vinay Sitapati is also on my list for potential guests. There is an Indian Kisan AI too. Okay, didn't know this. AI will eventually force the governments across the world to bring in universal basic income. I have views on that, but I will not give them right now because we are also running out of time. But I will address this in the AI episodes. I have much to say about this subject, but in short, I think the whole AI will kill us all sort of thought process. Plus, मुझे पता ही नहीं क्या चल रहा है, and I don't give a shit about AI. I'm somewhere in the middle, and I'm trying to figure it out कि which side to go to, because one side is saying अरे ये सब तो hype है, cryptocurrency आके चला गया, now all these tech bros are jumping on AI, it's just hype, क्या ही करेंगे, while the other side is saying holy shit ये तुमने क्या कर दिया, you have unleashed a beast onto the world and it is going to kill us all. uh, I'm not an AI expert. Both opinions I'm hearing. Also, it's social media, so extreme opinions. I'm trying to find a middle ground somewhere. Right now, what I've understood is that AI to a certain extent is enhancing my work to a certain extent. I mean, not perfectly, but I can see how I can use AI to enhance my personal work, which includes research, writing scripts, concept notes, brainstorming, ideation, social media, a bunch of things. So I can see how it's a tool, but again, I will bring people and talk to them about it. Right now, this is my basic take on this. Nice content. Looking forward. Thank you, Apurva. I hope you keep following. Jay Prakash Narayan, founder of Lok Satta Party, would be an interesting guest. We did reach out to him, and he has promised that he would come on the podcast soon. In fact, he will come very soon. So we have reached out to him, and he's very interested. So I'm also looking forward to that episode a lot. Samir Saran would be great for AI policy. Okay, noted. Samir Saran. Uh, okay, last few questions, guys. Then we have to end this. Uh, Swaradeep is asking, "Hello, Meghnad, bro. I have a question. What are the process to get a job in central ministry? I'm doing PhD in rural management, and thank you for your amazing content." Getting a job in the central ministry, usually they'll have exams which you will have to give, UPSC, etc., to get into central. But now a lot of ministries are actually taking consultants from different organizations. So maybe identify like one of these consulting organizations that are working actively with the government on different projects. You will find many of them. And you can maybe work with that organization and then consequently work as a consultant with the ministry. um, Maybe that's one way to go about it. The other way, I feel, which is a very underrated thing to do, but I always advise you to, if you want to work in policy, if you want to work in government, if you want to work with in legislative capacities or just policy making, walk up to your MP and say, I want to be an intern. Try to see if you can work there first, and try to see if you can add anything to their current work. At least you will get a lot of work experience. It won't be a job, they will not pay you, but for a glorious few months you will get a full blast of what policy making looks like. And then you can take next steps, because that is when you will discover other organizations, because there are organizations that constantly reach out to these MPs for different things. So maybe it will open up your horizons a little bit to see where you fit in this whole scenario. That is my general advice. I mean, that is the way I went about it. I know a lot of other people who went about it this way, so please try it. Nitya is asking, what is the discussion on? Nothing. It's on everything. But Nitya, we are actually ending this. You can go back and listen to all the things that we have covered. Thank you so much for watching, guys. This was wonderful. Lots of questions, lots of interesting suggestions, and we really appreciate it if you give us feedback on all our shows. Explain Like I'm 10, which I host, How to Citizen, which me and Shreyas host, and Page 10, which Abbas hosts. Please do give us feedback on all these shows, and we take feedback very seriously. We are constantly trying to innovate and change our content to suit what you want and what you think is valuable. So please keep the comments coming, keep the feedback coming, keep the suggestions coming, and of course, if you want to be a union leader of spectators, write to me, write to Sakshi, write to our main handle, and we will consider it and we will get you. So, thank you so much for watching. I hope this was fun. And I will see you in the next episode of Page 10 and then ELI 10 and How to Citizen. Bye bye.